Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this event to discuss Chetana education. First of all, Happy New Year to all of you and wishing you all a very prosperous and exciting new year. We have the honor of hosting Mr. Rakesh Rambia, who is the promoter of Chetana Education. I read Mr. Rambia's brief profile and I was really overwhelmed. He has come really, strongly from, it's a true rags to riches story. Starting from living in a 100 square feet house with 17 other people to building this a strong large company, it's amazing journey. So I'm hoping to hear a little bit more about it. I'll just you know briefly take you through what the company does, and so that will give you an idea. So let me share the screen. So Chetna Education is a 200 crore market cap company. Let me just take you through the presentation. So the company started journey like 47 years back. They are into creating content for up to class 12th students, both for CBSE and Maharashtra board. They have more than 700 titles with 15 distinct brand portfolios, 30,000 hours of videos, 75 lakh books were produced in FY24, 400 plus authors present in 18 states, and huge amount of distribution and dealership network. So what the company does is it provides content-driven book publishing for CBSE and Maharashtra board, catering to K to 12 segment. Uh, they have strategic tie-ups with a lot of digital content companies, and the contents are available in various languages. Plus, they have collaboration with various vendors to print and uh, do the binding of the book. So it's a very asset-light model. So Chetna focuses on content and distribution. The remaining things are outsourced. And this we already discussed. They have content for CBSE and Maharashtra board. Very strong growth they have seen over the last 4 years, almost tripling their revenue and more than doubling their EBITDA. This is their product portfolio. So from pre-primary to higher secondary that we can see. Their main competitive strength is that they have strong focus on digital and technology platform. So apart from the printed material, students could go click on the barcode and come to the digital part of learning through videos and all that. So that is one of the key important thing. Having a such large author base is the other key USP of the company. And obviously, the management team is highly experienced and leadership team is hands-on. So that really working to the strength and a satellite model as we discussed. So I'll stop the sharing here. So Rakesh, welcome to the show. Can you little bit tell us about your journey? How you started and what is the current thought process about where the company is headed to? So just give us a little bit about your history and what is the vision forward you have for the company?
So thank you very much, Rakesh ji. First of all, as both the names are Rakesh,
Yeah.
it's very easy and convenient for me to communicate.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for investing your time to understand Chetna education in a depth. Rakesh ji, as you rightly said, we started with a very small bookstall. So then in late 70s, our father Jaitilal Rambia, who started journey by introducing the first bookstall of Chetna on the footpath street on Channi Road station, which is located in Mumbai. and gradually became a publisher. And Chetna was initially famous for producing the content for college segment, and especially for commerce, science, arts, and CAIIB course, which is banking exam. Later on, my elder brother Anil Rambia, who is the marketing, who heads marketing here, when he introduced in Chetna, he said, "Why we restrict to only Mumbai University? We should focus more." And we reached to Maharashtra. That's how Chetna entered into school segment in late 80s. Slowly capturing Maharashtra against the leading competitors. Then I entered in 90s, where I realized why to restrict ourselves only to Maharashtra. Why not to go on a national level? And that's how late 90s we started books publishing for the CBSE curriculum. Now Chetna is don't publish any general books. Now this educational content is mainly divided by Maharashtra State Board, and at the same time for CBSE, Maharashtra State Board, it is from K-12, which is kindergarten to 12. Whereas CBSE we do from K to 10. That's our publishing segment. Uh, Besides publishing, off lately, like especially COVID was a blessing for us as a company. We realized there was a really badly digital content was required. Like there are many digital content companies, but they used to do a lot of generic content. What we did was we are one of the pioneer. I think even today in India we don't see any publishers. So we created a digital content which is inbuilt in the book itself. So the idea came how to take teachers to every household where child don't have to go for a tuition, and that's how this whole idea came up. And so we have a workbook where the student has to do homework. Now every question we have given a QR. The child, if they don't understand question or they don't understand answer, they just have to scan the QR and teacher appears. So for this, in COVID time in 21 and year 22, we developed almost more than 30,000 videos. Now this digital bank today, very few publisher, maybe hardly any publisher must be having, and that's our USP. So Chetna is very different than the normal publishing house. Normal investor feels Rakesh ji, it's a sundown industry. But for us, it's a absolutely growing for main two reasons. Government of India, the central government has given lot of importance to education today. Year on year, the budget is increased, literacy rate is increasing, and more students are keen to join schools and to have a better quality of education. Now, in this process, we realize that we can't be a normal publisher, and we must give affordable content which also gives the digital weightage. And that's how this QR concept came in. This is the journey, Rakesh ji.
Okay. Thank you, Rajesh, for
And sorry, as you rightly said, we have a very strong marketing team. We have today we have around more than 275 people who are in the field, and we have around 1 lakh square feet, including the CNF agencies for the logistic. So we create content, we design, and then this team goes for the marketing, do the presentation, giving sampling, and based on this content, the school start recommending the books. And today, this sales team is helping us to reach almost today, our reach is to 30,000 schools across India. So out of that, 7,000 schools are in Maharashtra, which is English medium, and around 3,000 coaching institute in Maharashtra, and rest all are CBSE schools.
okay.
Yeah.
So, Rajesh, we will just take one step back and try to understand the business.
Okay.
Basically, how does it happen in our case? Um, so from class 10 to from lower KG to say 10th that we do development of content. Does each school chooses what content which books they want to refer to, or is it driven by the board?
No, so it's a good question, Rakeshji. Generally, school has complete freedom to select any book up to eighth grade of any other private publishers. Especially, this is I'm talking about the CBSE.
Okay,
So Chetna has own set of textbook which are produced and given as a sample to the schools. And based on the quality content, school teacher recommend to the management, which is trustees or the school principal.
okay,
And based on that, they place the order to the dealer or to directly to the publisher.
okay,
But in Maharashtra, there is a government textbook. Based on that government textbook, we create a workbook, we create supplementary books, which help student to do the revision work.
okay. So CBSE, you are saying that from till class 8, schools are the freedom to choose whatever they want depending on the content of the book from the publisher. But
Absolutely.
Maharashtra prescribes textbooks where we can do only supplementary and notebooks and all that.
Correct. Not
Right?
the notebook. Upper notebook is a very generic word. So I would say very specifically workbooks and guides. Now, generally, government don't do all these both the things, but for a student, they definitely need a supporting material besides the textbook. Only textbook can't be survived.
Okay. Okay, got it. So,
So Rakesh, so when I say guide, we have a series called Master Key, and that's how the Chetna started. So, in my earlier investor call also, I've seen many parents pass their exam or schooling through this Master Key.
so master key is, the questions in the textbook which you provide answers to, correct?
Right, right,
And then there are certain workbook practice books which we students can use to practice.
right.
Now, before we go further, there was one question on the revenue share between Maharashtra and CBSE. Do we know how much percentage of revenue comes from Maharashtra board and CBSE board?
So, financial year 24, it was 55-45. 55% was the Maharashtra State Board, and 45% is the CBSE segment.
Okay, got it.
Now, same what we see right now for 24-25 academic year, which will be closing by March 25. We see CBSE number is going up and it will be almost like a 50-50%.
50-50%. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Rakesh, can you tell me for CBSE, suppose a school has picked up our books, our, textbooks that we have done. They will do it class by class, right? So in one class, they could have some other publisher, in, some other class they'll have. So every year, do you have to pitch, or, they choose it and then it is there for 4 or 5 years, they will use the same textbook?
So generally, what happens ki earlier the time was one book is selected and that goes for 5-6 years. Now today the time is changing. So generally, school selects any particular publisher that remains for at least 3 years now. Now to keep them engaged, if they don't want to change, the efforts for any creative and innovative publisher, they keep on doing a lot of upgradation of the content. At the same time, I'm just giving you one beautiful example. After realizing textbook publishing, which we saw there are quite a good publisher in the market. Now, how school teacher will select Chetna and not other publisher?
Hmm.
So the era today is everything is digital. We just created a platform only for the teachers, which is called Books and Beyond.
Okay.
Now, Rakeshji, what is this Books and Beyond? It's like you select any book. Say, for example, you're teaching a chemical factory. You're a science teacher. With the AI help, just with the simple question, click of a button, teacher may say, I want to see chemical factories around Mumbai. So all chemical factories, the answer will come up in a fraction, maybe a 2 seconds time. Same like you show Dharavi as a in Mumbai. But if a Tamil Nadu teacher, if they click, they will see the local. So it is a local and global. This concept is just introduced, and it's a big boost.
Okay, so what you're saying is that if the teacher is in Mumbai, they click, they'll see factories around Mumbai. And
Yes,
if they are in, say, Rajasthan, they'll see factories around wherever they are. Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. So basically, once our textbook is accepted and it's largely, you say, for the 3 years, uh, what about competition? Competition is also seeing our books and they are also trying to improve upon it. So, do we get repeat, orders? Do we have any data to say that, once we get certain class in some school, we keep
Right.
on getting it?
It's a very very interesting point you are raising. So yeah, I agree that schools they want quality content. Yeah. Now that the beauty is why they will select only Chetna and not other publisher. The only today what we see of lately, sometime when I feel that I'm too late to enter so aggressively. Uh, 65% of publishing market is, I would call it as an unorganized sector. When I say unorganized sector means there is no quality content available in India today. Secondly, out of the remaining 35%, hardly 10% are equipped with the digital content.
Okay.
And that's the biggest edge where Chetna can. So, if you have seen year on year, we are growing especially for post COVID, is around 25%. And coming financial year closing will be around 20% plus. That's because of this reason.
Okay. So, what about these, publishers like Navneet, Ashchand? Are they our competitors? They are also doing similar stuff, or they are doing something different?
No, so the concept is same. The publishing segment is same, but yes, it all depends on the quality content. So we have authors like Barry O'Brien. Now Barry O'Brien is a brother of Derek O'Brien, who is a brainchild of the Bonvita quiz. We just recently signed up with Dr. Swarup Sampath, Paresh Rawal's wife, and she's one of the biggest educationist philanthropists. So it all depends on what quality content. So Navneet, Ashchan, yes, they are our colleague. We learn from them, they learn from us. But at the end, the whoever giving the best quality will survive.
Okay. So, that brings me to my next part of the question, which is how do we get these 400 plus authors on our platform? Are they exclusive to us, or can they write for anybody else?
No.
How are our
So
contracts done with them?
no. So we have 100% every document contracted, written document. Once they write for Chetna, they cannot write for any other publisher. At the same time, if their quality is good, we also try to retain them by not approaching any other author.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's an exclusive agreement.
Hmm. Okay. And so, how does the development really happens? Meaning, um, at the moment, what is the content that we have available, and what are the areas where there are gaps that we are trying to work in, and how this new education policy fit into the whole thing?
Uh, Education policy which has been introduced, it's a really boost for the overall student development. And for the student development, it is a major, I would say, the biggest boost for publisher also, where only quality publisher can come up with the good content. And this will eliminate unorganized sector where only discount matters. So that is one big area NCF we are very bullish on. And the first phase of NCF has been introduced in academic year 24-25.
Okay.
And from coming year, that is academic year 25, KG to so nursery to second grade will be made compulsory. Chetna is
What will be
already
compulsory in second nursery to
uh,
secondary?
nursery to second grade will be compulsory for all the school to follow NCF
Okay.
for academic year 25-26.
Okay.
And as a Chetna planning, we already developed in the year 2023. So we
Okay.
are quite ahead of the time.
Gotcha. Okay. So, what you're saying is that NEP is implemented from next year, which is 2025. And it is compulsory for lower KG to first, right? First is it?
Second son.
To second standard. So, and we
It is
already
called
have that.
foundation year. It will be called as a foundation year.
Okay, so we already have content developed for that curriculum. Now, can you tell us how much percentage of our current revenue? This is for CBSE, right? NEP?
Yes, and no, so NEP is basically for the all over India for state board as well as a central board.
Acha. So how
Yeah,
much of our
but state board has given a time to implement as and when the state government is comfortable to introduce. So Maharashtra government is starting from next coming year. There are like that many states. So we in all we have around 700 titles. Chetna's mastery is mainly into lower standard student, that is pre-primary age group of 3 to 10.
okay,
So pre-primary is age group of 3 to 6 and the primary is 6 to 10. Now here it was a conscious decision that Chetna should focus more on pre-primary because the overall creativity and the numbers of books which is really required is pre-primary segment. And it is not going to die in next 50 years, 100 years.
now how much is pre-primary contribution to our revenue at the moment?
Around 35%.
Acha, 35%. And so you think with this NEP coming in, it can grow because we have opportunity?
Yes. And it is also all the books are equipped with the digital content. So normally publisher, what they do is they create the digital content only for the teachers, whereas Chetna is doing for teachers separately for the student in the book itself. That's why how that scan of QR has come up.
So currently, when we are saying pre-primary, 35% of the revenue is coming from there. So almost we can say 30 odd crores is coming from this pre-primary section. How many schools would be taking our this thing right now?
Uh, It is very difficult to give the exact count. So I'll tell you the reason. So today we have an active 7,000 plus active account, which includes coaching classes, schools, and booksellers. But as far as CBSE is concerned, many schools they prescribe book and the books have been ordered by the dealer. So at times we don't know which school has recommended through which dealer.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are just identifying and planning to how to capture that data. So
Okay.
hopefully by coming year it will be done.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you think that this segment can grow at what speed can it grow for the next 2, 3 years?
Sir, of course it's a public platform, but I am very bullish to grow Chetna year on year anywhere between 20 to 25%.
Gotcha, got it. So overall, you think Chetna can grow at 20-25%, pre-primary and all that. So pre-primary NEP, when is NEP going to be for the primary section?
2026. So 25, 26 academic year. 26, 27 academic year, sorry.
Acha. And then it will go up to till which standard? 10th standard or 12th standard?
Foundation year is from nursery to second, then it will be 3 to 5, then it will be 6 to 8, and like that.
Okay. And when you go and bid to the school, how much competition do you face? How many, I mean, competitors are there with their books, largely from the organized space?
Uh, Organized space, I would say anywhere between 15 to 20 good publisher where Chetna appreciate their content.
Okay.
That is what number we are looking.
So around 15 to 20 good publishers are there.
Yeah.
So you're talking about this is whole India, right? 15 to 20 good
Yeah,
publishers.
yeah, whole India. In Maharashtra, only three publishers today. So top is Navneet, of course. Second leading, I would say Chetna, and there is one more publisher. That's it.
Acha. And how frequently we change our textbooks? Suppose, like us, Simmer is asking one of this question that if suppose a school accepts a textbook and normally it lasts for 3 years,
Right.
obviously we would be giving them a better textbook in 3 years' time.
Yeah. So the complete revamp happens every third year, but year on year we have to update data. Like just an example, earlier book was Sachin Tendulkar. Today it is Virat Kohli, and maybe next year we'll have a Jaiswal. So that upgradation is required.
So every year we update the book.
Yeah.
And do we do a drastic change in the book after a few years, or it is incremental change every year we keep on doing?
No, so the
Right.
major change happens only when the syllabus changes, and generally syllabus changes after every 5 to 7 years.
Acha, okay.
Yeah. Now, due to COVID, since last 8 years, there is no change in the syllabus. So we have been using the same content, just upgrading. That's it.
Acha, got it. And so now let's come to a little bit of economics. Uh, so in terms of content development, meaning we have to continuously upgrade our books. So all these 400 authors, they are working on certain books and all that.
Right.
So how do we, pay them? Is it a royalty structure or is it, cost
No,
structure?
Chetna has 100% copyright ownership for every title.
Okay.
We pay to around 99% authors are paid one time. Only 1%, like a Barry O'Brien, has a royalty concept. But generally, we pay one time. And whenever there is a major revamp, we pay them again. So
Okay.
it's not year on year royalty.
So suppose a new book, new textbook has been written, we'll pay him one time. But
Right.
every year we need to update that book, na? So we pay something more every year.
No, if it is a normal updation, that in-house team do. So we have in-house team for every subject,
Okay.
which they do.
Okay.
Only when there is a revision, major revision.
Achha. So how many people are there in-house to do these small changes?
See, we have around 40 people team into production who do upgradation year on year, and they are very well qualified. They are most of them are the ex-teachers and principals of the school.
Okay. So once a textbook is written, we pay one-off payment to them, and then we keep on upgrading till the time the syllabus changes, or
Right,
we do a drastic change in our portfolio. Now
right.
that brings us, to the question which Pawan has raised. So are we sometimes left with outdated inventory content? So how do we order? I mean, once we got the content, how do we plan how much books we need to publish and how many people are going to take it?
Yes. Generally, what happens, Rakesh ji, uh, of course, the history always talks. So we have past year's data. So based on that, the print quantity is been given to the department. But whenever there is a change in the syllabus, yes, certain stock goes in the scrap. And but the beauty of this industry is we come to know any change in the syllabus before almost before a year. So we in that year uh, we print very consciously depending on the number of books. So we don't go very aggressive.
Okay. So are we left with any books, meaning, or we just give it to dealers at some discount and then it's done? Yeah.
No, if the syllabus changes, the books goes for the scrapping. But otherwise, every year the same books remains and has been used the second academic year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So the main cost
But
that we are
Rakesh, one
incurring.
one beauty is somewhere we losing the once we do scrap, it's a loss to the company. But the beauty is whenever the syllabus changes, the incremental value in sales goes up. So
Hmm.
there is no second-hand market. A new publisher who comes with the first in the market will get a value-added advantage. So it's a both way.
Okay. So can you ballpark give us, what are the costs overall involved? Suppose a book is selling for 100 rupees. And so what would be the distribution margin on that?
So normally on MRP, average 40% is the trade discount, uh, depending on the volume. If it is from a big group school or something, then maybe 45%. But standard discount is 40%.
Okay.
Yeah, and out of the whatever revenue comes, the EBITDA is somewhere around anywhere between 20 to 23%.
So इसमें अच्छा 20 to 23% is EBITDA margin. And so what about the printing cost? How much would be printing cost out of this?
Uh, so out of that, printing cost would be anywhere between around 10 to 12%.
10 to 12% is the printing cost.
Yeah.
And what is the other cost? We have in-house people. So,
No, okay, I'll put it other way. Uh, you said printing, so I would put it like this. So printing and purchase, so raw material, the entire cost of the book is somewhere around 40% of your sales.
okay, got it. So 25 to 30% is raw material and 10 to 12% is printing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So around 40% is the cost of goods sold.
20%, it's 77%, 37%. Yeah.
Okay. And how do we discount for the author's cost? Do we amortize it or do we do it at one shot, whichever year it is spent, you just
No. Generally, that cost is divided by 2 years.
by 2 years?
Yes.
Ach,
It can't be 1 year because if you want a good quality author, you need to pay good price, and that price can't be absorbed within the first year. So on average, we do it for 2 years,
okay, so the
and the
author,
benefit we get is 5 years.
that I understood. 2 years amortization. So when you are paying an author, how do you value that? Meaning, if you think this book would sell for say 2 crores.
Yeah. So it is a it is it's a very dynamic. It depend on which class it is. It depends which medium we are doing it. It depends on the what series it is. So it's a very dynamic.
Okay, so one of the questions which was asked is by Sahil. So do we get better margins pre-primary, primary, or higher secondary? Where are the margins better?
Margin wise, if you talk, the better margin is for the core subjects, which is 1 to 8 standard, the mid course textbook. But the volume is more into pre-primary segment because we have become expert in that.
Yeah. So Sunil is just clarifying that the print and paper cost is 40% of MRP.
No, I said selling price. So the paper and printing cost of MRP is around 20 to 25%.
Okay, so this is the selling price, right?
Right.
Yeah, so
Till the
MRP minus the trade discount is the selling price.
yes, correct.
Okay, got it. And so author you said is amortized over 2 years, and pre-primary is more volume, but primary textbooks are where the margins are the highest. So,
True.
so when probably NEP comes in Maharashtra for
Right.
primary, that could give you a good margin boost probably because textbooks
So,
would be
Rakeshji, very recently we got a news. Of course, the GR has not been passed, but understood from the sources from Education Department that Maharashtra government may introduce maths and science CBSE. So right now it's a state subject, but now they are converting into say CBSE. So only the reason is the Maharashtra student want to compete to the national level competitive exam. Now this will give a lot of value in terms of revenue.
okay. Got it. So one thing which I wanted to ask, so when do we pay the authors? Do we pay some advance to them?
No, there is no advanced concept. It is purely once they submit the manuscript, once we finalize the book, once the author sign off the book, by that time they receive the check.
Okay, so once the book is final and complete, then only we pay to the author, correct?
Sorry?
Once the book is totally signed off and is complete, then we
Yes.
pay to the author, correct?
Yes, and it also depends because there are we Chetna is authors for last maybe there are many out of 400, maybe 50% of them are writing for last 25 years. So it's like a now family relation. So if required, we don't mind to even give advance. That's okay.
Acha, got it. And For the printing and all that, do we have to pay any advance or we get credit for 1 or 2 months, 3 months?
No, so we get the credit, but since now company is debt free and surplus funds are available, so we do all immediate payment. The
Okay.
entire paper buying is immediate, so we get a better benefit as far as the cash discounts are concerned. So that improves your EBITDA.
Okay. And what about when you sell to the dealer, do we take advance or the money is received after 2, 3 months or
No. So this industry works little differently. Rakesh, it's a very good point. I would like to elaborate little in detail. Quite a few investors asked me why Navneet or Ashan has a data cycle is almost 200 plus days. So the layman will not understand. So it is good to explain on this platform. So it's a cyclical business. So when I say cyclical, generally CBSE sales happen in the last quarter of financial year, that is Jan to March. Now, whatever we supply, uh, school distributes student by end of April or maybe first week of April,
okay.
and then school shuts down and reopens in the month of July. So by the time we supply and we go for a collection, it is almost July, August, September. Whatever unsold copies are there, we have to collect and this they do the settlement. So it's a cyclical. At the same time, Maharashtra State Board has a cycle of April to June. So when we supply in April, May, June, we start getting collection in July, August, September. So it's a 200-day cycle. There is no concept of advance payment in this industry.
Hmm.
Of course, we are secured when we supply to dealers, we are secured with their security checks. And they're all old dealers, so we don't see any major issue. Overall, I would be very practical to say this. The overall bad debt ratio is around 0.5%.
Hmm. Okay.
And because of this cyclical business, our inventory also shows more. So when I supply to CBSE schools, outstanding goes up. By when you see the balance sheet of March, outstanding goes up. At the same time, we keep state board books ready by March to supply in April. My inventory also goes up.
Okay.
And so the person who is seeing only March balance sheet, they suddenly realize company has a lot of data, company has a lot of stock, but this is a cyclical business.
Okay. So you are saying that the March reported numbers high because CBSE you have already supplied the books.
Right,
The receivables will come from April to June or somewhere.
right,
And by the time they come, Maharashtra board cycle has started.
right.
So that money will come, by
August, September.
up to September. So if somebody sees September
Am I
balance sheet would
audible?
look much
Yeah.
lighter.
Sorry, I just missed out.
So I was saying that if somebody looks at the balance sheet in September,
Yeah. That's a right balance sheet to gauge a publishing industry.
हाँ तो उसमें तो सब कुछ आ चुका होगा. You will have everything collected.
Right.
Hmm. So just one question Sridhar has, that which segment is better in receivable, dealer or direct schools? Meaning, do you do both, right?
Definitely dealers, and that's why for CBSE our supply 85% is only through dealer.
अच्छा, CBSE is 85% dealer. And what
Yeah.
about Maharashtra?
No, Maharashtra major sale is directly to the schools, but slowly the things are changing. Now even school prefers to order through dealer
Okay.
because there are quite a few restriction by the government, not to do a commercial business in the school. Of course, school don't do the business; they just take the books from us and gives to the student. But that mindset has changed. So they don't want these headaches. So slowly, the entire business is going towards dealer.
Okay. Uh, I think what Simar is asking, what kind of market share Chetna holds as compared
Uh,
to say Navneet
yeah,
in.
I just read that question. So uh, if I tell you about Maharashtra Navneet, if I'm not wrong, I don't have the accurate data, but what we understand and study from the market and their balance sheet, Maharashtra Navneet is doing around 350 crore top line, whereas Chetna is doing around 50 crore. Now, of course, Navneet also into Marathi medium, Chetna is not there, but we have a huge scope to fill that gap.
Okay.
Gap between first and second.
Okay.
So if you see in Maharashtra, if I take only the English medium, which we are doing right now, earlier we had Marathi medium, we stopped during the COVID, and we're going to reintroduce coming academic year. But if I talk about English medium, there are 8,000 schools in Maharashtra, whereas the number one and number two as a competition, there's a huge gap, and that's the beauty of this Chetna growth story.
Okay, so what you are saying, Sunil is asking to repeat the numbers, but let me try to sum up. So you are saying that, Navneet does 300 odd crores of revenue, we do 50 crore in, but if we are just looking at certain segment like English and all that, we are our market share would be very good, right? That's what you're saying?
Around 35% is the market share for English medium. That's what data we had last year's.
Okay. So if you take the 35% of the market, then are we number one in terms of English medium schools in Maharashtra?
No. So I said 35% is only the Navneet. There are other small publisher also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
But yeah, there is a huge scope. There is a huge scope. The only reason being a huge scope is okay. I don't want to talk about any publisher or I don't want to name it, but generally, one publisher has a workbook. We also have a workbook. So maybe a leader workbook price is 100 rupees. Mine will be 105 rupees. But we introduce this QR based workbook, which is around 30% upper side. So maybe 140 rupees. Now the beauty is we have a workbook which has no digital content. We also have a workbook which has a digital content. Now this digital content workbook today competitor don't have. The best beauty lies here is today parent don't mind spending 25, 30 rupees extra to get a 24/7 teacher available. And that's where this whole idea came when we saw the Byju's. What Byju's do is the same content what we produced. They are selling for 50,000 and I'm selling for that 100 rupees.
Mhm. So I want to come to this whole digital initiative and want to discuss it fully. But let's take few other questions which were there. Like Hitesh is asking, uh, can anybody become a publisher or there's some license requirement? No, obviously content is one of the key entry barrier that I can think of. But is there any license requirement also?
So for Maharashtra, if anybody wants, they need to have a license from the Balbharti, and we are one of the license holder for Balbharti. As far as CBS is concerned, you don't require any approval from any central agency or any educational department.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if the school accepts our book, we are a publisher.
Yeah, so that's the reason. There is a lot. That's the main reason why there is an unorganized sector flourishing. But now that era is going because a small time publisher, it is very difficult to create a digital content because digital content require a lot of efforts and investment. And
Okay.
luckily, Chetna did it before just start of the COVID.
Understood. So now coming to digital content, we don't really charge for digital content separately, right? Because it is part of that book. You click on the QR code.
Right.
So we can't say that the revenue is coming from digital initiative, but do we track how many people are using that QR
Yes,
code? And
yes.
so can you give us some,
So we
statistics on
So
that?
in last 2 years, we started post-COVID. So 23, 24 was the first year. Of course, it was just a surviving period for entire education industry. But in 23 and 24, 2 years, we have more than 2.5 lakh students registered on our app.
Okay. So around 50,000 students.
2 lakh 50.
No, 2,50,000 students
That's 2 lakh
registered,
60,000. So that's
and
big
active
number.
registered books are around 1,30,000.
When you say active, how many times they would have used? Yeah, once in a year.
No, no, no. Rakesh, very nicely you are asking. So, my experience, I tell you, last year when we did it, out of 100, only 10 students used to look into the digital content on a day-to-day basis. Today, that ratio has jumped to 25%.
Okay.
Which is a very good sign. And now we see, uh, because many schools started asking digital content, and we see that year on year, digital content will be required.
So what are the initiatives we're taking now? I mean, so QR code was good to get people from the book to our platform.
Right.
Now they're on our platform. So what are the initiatives we're taking to, convince them?
There are multiple things we are doing it. The It is called post sales. So we created a student club where we stream every month. We stream one program which is out of the syllabus. Say for take an example, they are not taught how the cyber crime is happening. So we call specialists to give a lecture on a cyber crime, depending on the age group. So we have created three age group, three different level. We teach them. Now this is out of the syllabus, and this they get free of cost. And that's how the school insists student to go and register themselves on the app. That's one of the initiative we started last year, and we got a good response.
Okay.
And
And
plus to give more, that's what I just told before 10 minutes, that we also launched a concept called books and beyond. It's a online, on mobile or PC or anywhere. The teacher has a age to take anything what they want. They don't have to go to Google. They don't want to have to serve any other site. Uh, Suppose if I teach one topic, and if I feel based on this topic, I want to conduct immediately MCQ, they just have to click one button, the MCQ comes on the screen. Now, seeing teacher using digital content, students started using more.
okay.
That's the whole idea.
Got it. And there's a related question from Sridhar. He's saying, what is our engagement on YouTube? Do you have a YouTube channel where we
Yeah. We have a YouTube channel, which is private YouTube channel. I honestly don't know the exact number, but I think 40,000 plus students are engaged by seeing the pre-primary videos.
Okay, got it. So Rakeshji, one question which a lot of people are asking. Okay, Simar has one question that books with QR codes were 12% at the time of IPO. What are the projections for these for FY26? And
Um,
customized books for 8
I,
crore.
I can see very strongly double of that percentage.
Okay, so now 24% of books would be with QR codes.
Yes, I'm seeing that the trend which is going on, the way parents are calling, so it says very clearly, we have to grow double as far as the digital content is concerned. I'll be Rakeshji very honest with you. We are going to announce one very big news by end of this month, uh, that we will tell you later on once we sign off and we put post on the NSE.
Okay, so basically another digital initiative we are talking about, which we are
Yes,
in
yes,
process of planning and executing. Okay.
yes.
And what about these customized books? Simar is asking that they were for 8 crore and what is the percentage now and all that?
Percentage wise, uh, coaching industry right now is little turmoil, because a lot of professional big players have come in, like Allen, and there are many players. But we see a decent growth, not to the terms of 20-25%, but a reasonable growth is there. So we customize, it means we just do the white labeling. The content remains the same, the book remains the same. We just change the outer cover.
Okay, so it is just that you give a white label book to people to publish in their own name. Okay.
Yeah.
And Sahil has one question. How do we handle the volatility in raw material prices? Like paper price goes up and down every day.
No, so paper prices does not go up and down every day. It's again a cyclical. So generally, earlier we used to buy only Indian paper, but since last 2 years, imported paper they have become very aggressive, especially from Indonesia, Thailand, Asian countries. So we come to know by once we start preparing by in the month of August, we do a lot of R&D, and based on that, the price are fixed.
Okay.
But generally, yes, what was there before 2 years and today the price has come down for any raw material like paper, plate, printing ink. It has come down.
Okay. So, Rakesh, now I want to ask a very strategic question from an investor point of view. How do they track your company? Because you are saying you will grow at 20% CAGR, and that is looking everything is fine and all that. But do we track how many salespeople you have, or how many textbooks you are creating every month or quarter? What are the metrics which will tell us how would you grow? And also, there are a lot of questions on going outside of Maharashtra, meaning how many schools we are selling that CBSE thing outside of Maharashtra. So, if you can just cover this in whole, one answer as to how we should track this company for growth.
The simple answer to this is I would invite each and every person who is interested, please visit my office. We are always welcome to call you and we will answer for every question you have. So it is always, we are available 24/7.
Yeah.
That's one generic thing. But overall, if I tell you, Rakeshji, uh, CBSE, it is little difficult to define the exact number of school as a client because many schools place order through dealer, as I told you earlier,
Yeah.
and these dealers would not like to mention the which school they are giving order for. Because they always have a fear ki if we tell you the school name, your salesperson will go direct. So that is this is something dynamic of the market. But yeah, we have a good growth story as far as CBSE is concerned for next 3 years at least.
Okay. No, so should we track the number of dealers and distributors you are appointing?
As I told you, anybody is welcome. We can definitely give the detail wherever is required, whatever is possible way.
No, no, I understand that we are available and but normally analysts want to track some data points. So, uh, how do we track, what are the data points one can track to get a handle that how the growth is going to be? It could be 15%, it could be 25%.
So as I told you, see, we don't have any tracking mechanism to show to the public, but generally there are 275 sales team who are on the field, and they all are given average 100 to 125 schools in each zone.
Okay,
Now, these people, they go to the school, they do the presentation, and based on the books are recommended.
got it. So,
Now, yeah, and as far as the dealers are concerned, every area in India today, we have whatever area we have captured. So we are present in 18 states. Out of that, 10 state we are focusing more. Now that dealer network is already set. So there are very standard dealers in most of the area. So
okay.
one can just track by simply going there, or maybe I don't know.
No, so understood. So we have around 275 salespeople, and each
Yeah,
one covers 125 schools.
yeah.
So, and we are focusing on 8 to 10 states more right now.
Right now, focus on main 10 states.
Acha, so can we, get like what is the plan for adding salespeople, and, what are the plans for having more salespeople for different states?
So I'll just tell you what difference we are doing right now. So March 24, whatever number we got, so we had around 200 team. This academic year we had 225. Now for next academic we are already 275 people. So year on year we go on adding a sales team for a geographical fit on the ground. So earlier we never been there in Kerala, Telangana. Now this year we started Telangana, we started Kerala.
Okay. So
So
these are the
yeah,
data
yeah,
points probably which we can, highlight. So
Right.
people can, make some assumptions as to where the growth is going to
So
come from.
now, for coming next, I would say 3 years, there is a lot of opportunity to add sales team in the geographical area which are untapped. Like our Chetna presence is very less in East India. We have only Kolkata, some exposure, but nothing much beyond that. So that's our next target to capture. At the same time, as far as products are concerned, uh, I'll just tell you one simple. So when I met personally Dr. Swarup Sampat, and when we were talking, I could see because she is a part of the NCF curriculum, and I could understand that today India needs a curriculum based on nationality. So if you see most of the you see the old time books like I myself used to study Oxford English. Now this Oxford English had a John and Ron, but today in India there is a content required which has a Ram and Sham. It has to be nationalism, and because of this we just launched one major series called Yoga. Now, this yoga is for grade 1 to 8 curriculum CBSE textbook, which has created impact. We just introduced a month back. The whole idea was the content has to be nationalism.
Okay. We have a related question from Sridhar. He's asking, you mentioned that NEP thing starts from next year. So how long, these benefits can last, and what could be, obviously it starts in next year, but how long can it last?
So, NCF already introduced in 23-24. The implementation also was there this year, but schools have not taken into consideration. So, coming year will be the actual introduction. Now, this NCF curriculum will give any publisher edge for next 5 to 7 years because every year there will be a change.
Hmm. Okay.
And today, even the ratio for the student enrollment are also increasing.
Got it. I think we have largely covered. There was one question at the beginning, which, about GST notice. What is this notice, and, why Chetna, despite all its corporate governance?
No, so that's a there is some goof up from the agency, like from the government department. First of all, publishing doesn't come under GST. Let me be very clear to all the investors. We don't take any set off for any GST. There is no GST in educational books. So generally what happens that since there is no GST, so we file quarterly. They felt that you have taken on a monthly, why you have not deposited, but there is nothing like a deposit. And we have given clarification to the department and they understood also. Hopefully by this month end, we will get a positive note. It has no relevance to that notice. There is no setup. We don't take setup.
Okay. Okay. So there's it's not something which is a default kind of thing. It's just that.
Absolutely no. So we don't take on. There is no setup. So there is out of question.
Hmm. Got it. So I think Rakeshji, we had a very fair idea. I think the big thing is to have this 400 people of authors to write about, write the content, then have this large distribution network, Um,
Rakesh, my only request to all the viewers who are there listening, please do not consider Chetna as only an educational book publishing. There is a lot of changes in education sector by government, by private publisher, and for student also. So we are mainly a content driven with a lot of technology, digital support.
okay. And I think, with the NEP and NCP coming in, there is, a little bit of tailwinds that we are going to face. And again, the digital initiatives that you're taking is likely to improve, or rather, I would say, consolidate your customer base.
Yes, and we are very bullish, and I'm actually eagerly waiting to introduce by announcement by this month end.
Very good. So we are looking forward to that announcement. So thank you, Rakeshji. Thank you, everyone, for joining the call. I hope all your questions have been answered. Please feel free to reach out to either Go India Advisors. Our analyst team is will be there to help you whenever you need any question. Even Rakeshji is inviting you to his office. So do let me know if you want to visit and meet him again. So we will arrange that. Thank you once again, and Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone.